G'day viewers, Retro Man here and welcome to the 80s Show. Now the focus of today's episode is the great Australian rock band INXS. More specifically, I will be taking a look at INXS at the movies. Their catalogue of work, their songs that made their way into films during the decade that matters, the 80s. And man, do I have some very interesting songs to reflect on. Now, back in the 80s, the band contributed to 3 Hollywood movie soundtracks, and they also gave us some great songs for an Australian concert movie. Everybody shake. Everybody groove. Everybody shake. Now, I'm sure, guys, everyone's aware who INXS are. I mean, they're a 6-piece rock band that consists of the 3 Farris Brothers, Andrew, John and Tim. We also have Gary Beers on bass guitar, and we have Kirk Pengelly. I mean, that guy did it all, didn't he? He played sax, he also did backing vocals, and he also played guitar. And of course, we have the enigmatic frontman, Michael Hutchence. Now, the band began its life as the Farris Brothers. They did their debut gig in August of 1977 at Whale Beach, about 40 kilometres north of Sydney. After this, the band began performing under the name The Vegetables. That's right, guys, they actually had a song out called We Are the Vegetables. It was quite bizarre. But by about 1979, the band started performing supporting gigs for Midnight Oil. And this is when they kind of came into their own and they were rechristened INXS as we know them today. Now, their first gig under that name was in September 1979 on New South Wales Central Coast at a place called Toukley. And man, what a gig it was. It was a fresh start for the band moving into the 80s.
Now listen, I hate to say this, but you've also becoming sort of a bit of a cult hero, Michael.
Am I?
Yes, a lot of people are sort of saying, oh, Michael, like that. When are you touring?
We're touring right now. This Monday we start.
Right.
And we take off for about 2 or 3 weeks everywhere.
Right.
And then we start recording the album.
Well, I tell you what, you can't go past the debut album like the first one, and I wish you luck with the second. And if you're out there, please go and see them because they're an excellent group.
Now, 1984 became the big year for INXS. This was when their album Swing exploded. Also at this time, Hollywood came knocking. That's right, guys, they lifted 3 songs from INXS's 1982 album, Shaboo Shabaa, and put them in this rebellious teen movie called Reckless. I mean, have you ever seen that film? This is it right here. I mean, this is a movie with Aidan Quinn and Daryl Hannah. Aidan Quinn, more specifically, rides a bike in this film, and it's a real rebellious, gritty, teen angst film.
Make him believe you're so cool. Make him believe you don't feel anything. Feel this. Feel what it's like to be scared. Oh, sorry. Tracy. Tracy!
Now, there are 3 songs on the Reckless soundtrack. The first song was called The One Thing. Now, this is a bit of a signature song for INXS. I mean, it has all those flavours, it has a great Hutchence vocal. And have you seen the music video, guys? I mean, they're having a banquet, they're surrounded by models, and it's a bit of a turkey banquet, and it's a bit chaotic. And I think this song fit into the movie perfectly. Now, song number 2 from Reckless, guys, is called Soul Mistake. This is a bit of a quieter song, and the band sometimes perform this one live, but it's also a great addition to this film.
This was a lesson in love. She said this was a love to end the loves. This soul never listens to me. This soul's got lots to learn.
Song number 3 from Reckless was To Look At You. This is a real funky track, and it should have done a lot better for INXS. I mean, this could have been a chart topper. It has all their signature flavours, and Hutchence delivers a fantastic vocal. It's just a great song.
Oh, do you ask when there's no one left to turn to? You ask me, and I always try to hear. Find some money and colors and make believe the cheap value for a 50 crown. Got you, and that pussy sugar for me tonight. Got you, and that pussy sugar for me tonight. Why you turn up the car for a different kind of girl? We'll go to feelings, but never the words.
Moving right along, guys, from Reckless to this fantastic film here, Pretty in Pink. You all know this one. It's a John Hughes film starring Molly Ringwald, Andrew McCarthy and John Cryer. And guess what, guys? INXS contributed a fantastic song to this film soundtrack. It's called Do What You Do. And I mean, it's not exactly one of their most well-known songs. It didn't appear on one of the INXS albums. You will only catch it on the soundtrack here. But I tell you what, it has all those signature INXS flavours. It's got a great beat, great vocals. And really, guys, this song should have been a hit. And some people actually, when they reflect on the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, think that this is one of the best songs on the soundtrack. So take a listen, guys, to Do What You Do by INXS from the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. I'm sure you'll like this one. So 1986 was a big year for INXS. I mean, they got a song on the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. They were also achieving a lot of radio play. They were doing a lot of touring, and their name was really getting out there internationally. So when I think back to this song on the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, and really, what can I say? I mean, this song would have been a great addition to their 1987 album Kick, but it ended up on this soundtrack, and I mean, it really lifts this soundtrack. It's only played briefly in the film, but if you want to hear it, guys, it's here.
Every man with you, no one else did I do. Every man with you.
So by about 1987, there was this fantastic concert series taking place in Australia called Australian Made. And I have a Blu-ray copy here, guys, of the concert. I mean, it featured INXS with Jimmy Barnes. They were like the headline act of this thing. And amazingly, they made this fantastic concert movie. And this concert was actually directed by Richard Lowenstein, who was a good friend of Michael Hutchence. Now, INXS performed 5 amazing songs for this concert. One of them actually is a collaboration with Jimmy Barnes. It's called Good Times. So, guys, if you've never seen this, I mean, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, definitely have a listen to this, guys, because this is really something else. I mean, INXS in 1987 had come into their own. They had exploded, and I mean, there's some great tracks on here.
Mary, Mary, wanna be with you. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a call to you. 'Cause I feel good tonight. And everything's gonna be rain, 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 rain. I'm gonna have a good time tonight. Rock and roll music gonna play all night.
Now, this concert series was a big thing in Australia, and actually last year I did a feature episode on Australian Made. So if you've missed it, guys, please check out my feature on Australian Made if you want more. So anyway, as 1987 moved along, as I just said, INXS got together with Jimmy Barnes for that fantastic track Good Times. I mean, Michael Hutchence and Barnesy amazingly combined so well for that, and they combined so well that Hollywood came knocking again and actually placed Good Times on the Lost Boys soundtrack. I mean, the summer of 87 was huge for INXS. They were featured in this fantastic vampire film directed by Joel Schumacher. I mean, this was a movie that had such a hot cast. There was Kiefer Sutherland, of course, and there was the two Coreys, and it was a blast, this film. And I mean, you add that song Good Times by INXS and Jimmy Barnes, and I mean, it really takes it to another level.
I'm gonna have a good time tonight. Rock and roll music gonna play all night.
But it didn't end there, guys. There was actually another song of INXS's and Barnesy's that appeared on this soundtrack, and it was called Laying Down the Law. So there was two songs by INXS on the Lost Boys soundtrack, and they were just great, guys. It suited this film so well, and that's what takes this soundtrack, I think, to the next level. It adds that real star power to it. So what can I say, guys? INXS at the movies. They definitely appeared on some interesting movie soundtracks. I mean, Reckless, if you haven't seen this one, for some people Reckless is a bit of an oddity, but I mean, this is a must-see movie. There's a lot of heat in this film and a lot of chemistry between the two leads, so check it out. But as I was saying, guys, INXS really contributed a lot to the 80s. I mean, they got themselves in the movies on these soundtracks, and it really lifted the profile of the band. So that just about does it today, guys. I mean, that was a lot of fun flashing back to INXS at the movies, the 80s edition. And when I think about it, I mean, Michael Hutchence went solo for a while there in the 80s, and he also contributed to some movie soundtracks. So what I might do is I might pop back another time and talk about those Michael Hutchence movie songs. I'm going to call that one Michael Hutchence at the movies. So please keep a lookout for that, guys. That'll be coming very soon. But as always, please like, comment and subscribe, and keep watching the 80s show because I have a lot more coming your way. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. So until next time, this is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and as energetic as Michael and Jimmy combined. Please subscribe and good night, viewers.